So in this lecture I will be talking about the liquid drop model of the fission, that is Bohr-Wheeler theory. So in a large nucleus containing many nucleons, so two forces are cooperative. So what are those two forces? Number one is your Coulomb repulsion between protons. Coulomb repulsion between protons, the first force, and the number two force, it is the nuclear forces between the nucleons. Nuclear forces between nucleons. So this nuclear forces, this is short range and it is charge independent, short range and attractive, and it is charge independent. So we consider these two forces which are acting inside the nucleon, and that basically this is acting inside the big nucleus. So nucleus deep inside the nucleus. If you take a nucleus and there are the nucleons like this nucleons, so these nucleons which are present deep inside the nucleus, they are surrounded by the other nucleons. This nucleons, it is surrounded by the other nucleons, and on all sides. So the average force acting on it is zero. Average force acting, it is zero inside the nucleus, whereas the nucleons which are on the surface, there will be a net force. Which are nucleons which are present on the surface, because they will be attracted only by those nucleons which are inside the nucleons. So there is a net unbalanced force if you talk about the nucleons which is on the surface and nucleons which is deep inside. So here it is the force which is acting, average force equal to 0. But in this case the nucleons which is on the surface, this is surface, nucleons which is on the surface, the net force is not equal to 0. So therefore there is a net unbalanced force. And this net unbalanced force, it is directed inwards, which is similar to the surface tension of the liquid. This net unbalanced force, it is very similar to the surface tension in the liquid. So we treat the nucleus as a liquid drop. So we treat the nucleus as a charged liquid drop. Nucleus as a charged liquid drop. And it is spherically symmetric. This is spherically symmetric. So in order to discuss this liquid drop of model of the nucleus, we are considering this nucleus to be charged liquid drop. So the forces which are present on this are, one is the nuclear forces, it is clear, which is short range and attractive, and it is charge independent. So one is nuclear forces, and another is that is Coulomb repulsive forces. That is nuclear force, it is short range and attractive, and we have another force which is acting long range, Coulomb repulsive force between protons. So these two forces are acting. One is the short range nuclear forces, it is attractive, and the long range Coulomb repulsive force, between them. So there is a interaction between this short range attractive and the long range repulsive force. So nuclear forces which bind the nucleons together, nuclear forces which bind the nucleons together are compared with the surface tension forces of the liquid, which holds the molecules of the drop bound together. So shape of the nucleus in the undisturbed state, shape of the nucleus in the undisturbed state, that is spherical, and the shape of the nucleus in the undisturbed state is determined by the balance between the short range attractive force and the long range repulsive force between the protons, which tends to push them apart, and they disrupt the nucleus. So the nucleus which is spherical shape in the undisturbed condition, and there is a balance between the attractive short range attractive force and the long range repulsive force. Now when it is excited, or any thermal neutron, it hits onto it, then this ground state it is being disturbed and it goes to excited state, and the oscillation takes place, and as a result the spherical edge changes to ellipsoidal. And after that, the nucleus drop is made to disrupt by causing it to vibrate with the large amplitude, and in order to produce vibration that is being produced by the absorbed neutron. So as a result, this introduction of this excitation energy, it helps to vibrate with the large enough amplitude, and the introduction of this excitation energy into the nuclear system, it disturbs the equilibrium shape of the nucleus, so the spherical shape changes to ellipsoidal shape, and ellipsoidal changes to dumbbell shape, and there is a narrow at the middle, and then again the oscillation continues. Oscillation becomes more and more. As a result, a critical stage comes where it is going to be separated into two stable nucleus, and lastly the separation takes place. We get the one smaller nuclei, we get the another bigger nuclei, but these two are the stable nucleus. So finally it breaks at the neck, and we get the two intermediate nuclei. Now we will discuss what is the mathematical. This is the symmetrics, that how the sphere, one big sphere converted into the two smaller nucleus. So what is the mathematical analysis, what is the Bohr-Wheeler theory, that we will discuss. So what we consider the nucleus which is a spherical shape. Firstly we consider nucleus, it is a spherical shape, and this spherical shape, it is an incompressible nuclear fluid, has a constant volume. It has the constant volume because it is incompressible. And incompressible means it has the constant volume. So deformation produced in the nucleus, it is a lowest excitation, the drop remains the axial symmetry, and on account of the axial symmetry, it remains the axial symmetry. Drop retains its axial symmetry, and this axial symmetry, on account of the axial symmetry, the deformation may be expressed as, that is r theta. R is a function of the theta, because this we are considering this is r. So when it is being deformed, goes like this. So if you take any point here, this is the axis. If you take any point here, so this is r, this is our theta. So when it is deformed here, so it is d theta. So this r is a function of this r. Earlier for this sphere it was the r. Now when it is being deformed, now this is your r. This is your r. So this r is a function of the theta angle. So therefore I am writing this deformation is a function of the theta. So r theta equal to r0, and then it is 1 plus summation L equal to 0 to infinity BL PL cos theta, BL PL and cos theta. So where r theta that is the distorted radial coordinate, distorted radial coordinate of a point on the surface of the liquid, surface of the drop, surface of drop, that is the r theta, and BL is the deformation, BL it is the deformation parameter, deformation parameter, and PL cos theta, that is the Legendre polynomial, Legendre polynomial, Legendre polynomial. So the distorted radial coordinate of a point on the surface of the drop, that is expressed in terms of the that is r0, that is the when the undisturbed, that is the radius, into this 1 plus BL PL cos theta. BL and PL has been written. So this can be written as, that is r equal to r0 and then 1 plus b1 cos theta plus summation L equal to 0 to infinity c to L and p to L cos theta, cos theta. So therefore this is equation 2, and earlier that was equation 1. So where b1 equal to 0 and b0 equal to 0, and b1 means deformation without translation. This is deformation without translation, and b0, this is that is volume remains constant. This is 0 because volume remains constant, volume remains constant. So we are taking b0 is 0 and b1 is 0, because b1 is 0 means this is a deformation without translation. So r theta can be written as, so this is, we can write down r theta, which is equal to r0, then 1 plus b0 is 0, b1 is 0, so b2, and then it is p2 cos theta plus it is b3 p3 cos theta, plus goes like this. This is equation 3. So this the surface energy of the spherical drop. So surface energy of spherical drop, that is equal to ESP, that is surface energy of the spherical drop, that we can write down, that is ESP equal to surface tension, that is you can write down S into tau. S is the surface area into tension, so it is 4 pi, it is r0 square into tau. Tau is the surface tension. This is equation 4. And surface area, S is the surface area of the drop, S is the surface area of the drop, and tau is the surface tension, tau is the surface tension, tau is the surface tension. So surface energy of the deformed drop, this is a spherical drop. So surface energy of a deformed drop, surface energy of the deformed drop, surface energy of deformed drop, which is equal to surface energy of the deformed drop, that is equal to ES, surface energy of the deformed drop ES, which is equal to ES, which is equal to, that is tau integration of ds. This is equation 5. So according to Bohr-Wheeler theory, the surface energy of the deformed nuclear drop in terms of the deformation parameter. So ES, which is equal to 4 pi r0 square into tau into 1 plus 2 by 5 b2 square plus 5 by 7 b3 square plus this. So this is equation 6. These are the deformation parameters. So the Coulomb energy for an undeformed dot, Coulomb energy of an undeformed drop, that is EC0, which is equal to 3 by 5 Z E square divided by 4 pi epsilon into R naught. This is equation 7. So in case of a deformed drop, if we the Coulomb energy in terms of the deformation parameter, Coulomb energy in terms of the deformation parameter, can write down EC, which is equal to 3 by 5 Z E square divided by 4 pi epsilon R naught 1 minus 1 by 5 B2 square plus 10 by 49 B3 square minus goes like this. This is equation 8. This is our Coulomb energy in terms of the deformation parameter, that is B2, B3, these are the deformation parameter. So the total deformation energy, adding equation 8 and 6. So ET, total deformation energy, equal to E surface energy plus E Coulomb energy. So this is 4 pi r0 square into tau, then 1 plus 2 by 5, this is tau, 2 by 5 b2 square plus 5 by 7 b3 square on plus 3 by 5 z e square divided by 4 pi epsilon r naught, then it is 1 minus 1 by 5 b2 square and plus 10 by this is your minus, not plus, minus 10 by 49 b3 square and dot like this. So the total energy, this is total deformation energy. Now the total energy in the undeformed state. So total energy in undeformed state, which is equal to undeformed state, that is equal to, we can write down undeformed state, which is equal to ES0 plus EC0 plus EC, that is Coulomb energy and that is the surface energy. So we can write down, that is energy changes due to deformation of the drop, energy changes due to deformation of the drop which is equal to, can write down, that is ES plus EC, and ES plus EC, that is the deformation energy minus undeformed energy. So minus ES0 plus EC0. So that is the undeformed energy, this is the deformed energy. So if you subtract the undeformed energy from deformed energy, that is the energy change due to deformation of the drop. So therefore we get this equation. Now we write down that is ES equal to ES0 1 plus 2 by 5 B2 square plus then EC0, that is 1 minus 1 by 5 B2 square minus ES0 plus EC0, that is the undeformed energy. So what we get, which is equal to, so ES0 is Coulomb energy and this get cancelled, so we get 1 by 5 B2 square and then we are getting twice ES0 minus EC0, which is equation 11. So this we get energy changes due to deformation of the drop, that we are getting, that is the deformation energy due to surface energy and Coulomb energy minus that is undeformed energy due to surface and the Coulomb. So now we got this expression, that is energy changes due to the deformation of the drop equal to 1 by 5 V2 square twice ES0 minus EC0. Now this equation that will explain about the fission of this nucleus. So what we got, the equation is, or energy changes due to the deformation of the drop, that is del E, which is equal to 1 by 5 B2 square then twice ES0 minus EC0. This is equation 11. Now this equation will tells us about the energy, this is fission energy of the nucleus. So now the first case is if ESO is greater than ECO, that is twice ESO is greater than ECO, means surface energy is greater than the Coulomb energy. So what happens? Daily energy changes, that becomes positive, that is surface energy prevents the disruption, while Coulomb energy promotes it. Surface energy is greater than the Coulomb energy, it means surface energy prevents the disruption, while the Coulomb energy promotes it. So nucleus will be stable, nucleus will be stable against spontaneous decay or spontaneous decay, the first case. Second case, it comes out to be if 2ESO is less than ECO. So what happens? Del E will be negative, and if del E is negative, it means nucleus will be unstable against the spontaneous decay. And number 3, if twice ESO equal to ECO, then we have the critical case. And in the critical case, we will get a relation between Z and A. Here it is being shown. Here you see this is the spherical, and I have plotted the graph of the potential energy in a million electron volt versus the separation of the fragments. So when it is symmetrical, then we get the fission energy is nearly 150 MeV. And gradually when the nucleus, the oscillation, when it is hit by the slow moving neutron, then the oscillation which goes on the nucleus, there is a distortion of the nucleus because of the oscillations inside the nucleus. So as a result, the oscillation becomes more and more, the shape of the nucleus is being distorted, and a certain stage comes where there is a neck at the middle, and the two sides the oscillations becomes more, and gradually it becomes separated. So at this point we find this is the critical state where the surface energy and the Coulomb energy, it becomes equal. Surface energy and Coulomb energy equal. So I have drawn the two lines at the this is the energy of the fission, and this is the energy of the barrier. So at this point these two energy becomes almost equal, but gradually when it reaches from spherical to is elliptical, then there is a neck. So when the neck is formed, these two energy becomes equal, the barrier energy and the fission energy, it becomes the equal. And when it gets separated, then the Coulomb energy inside the nucleus gradually decreases. It has no role when it is being nucleus is being separated, then the Coulomb potential has no role. So till the Coulomb at this point when it is being separated, the Coulomb potential is at peak, and after when it is getting separated, then the Coulomb potential gradually decreases. So this is the plot of the potential energy curve versus the that is the separation of the fragments. So what do we get when two ESO equal to ECO, when it is the critical case, when the nucleus gets separated, unstable nucleus gets separated into the stable nucleus, where 2 ESO equal to ECO, surface energy is equal to Coulomb energy, we have the critical case. It means twice into 4 pi r0 square into tau equal to 1 by 4 pi epsilon 3 by 5 ze square by r0 square, or it is 8 pi r0 square r equal to r0 a to the power 1 by 3. We know this formula, r0 a to the power 1 by 3. So we are putting r0 equal to here, r0 to the, so this becomes 8 pi r0 square a to the power 2 by 3 into surface tension, which is equal to 1 by 4 pi epsilon 3 by 5 z square e square divided by r0 square, means it becomes r0 square and a to the power square, so a to the power 2 by 3, so this is minus 2 by 3. So this becomes z square by a. From this equation we will be getting z square by a equal to 4 pi epsilon into 40, and then it is pi r0 square tau divided by 3 square. So this is almost equal to 50. So z square by a, that is the critical value, critical condition, which is almost equal to 50. So if we define a fissionable parameter, we define a fissionable parameter, that is chi, fissionable parameter that is chi, which is equal to z square by a divided by z square by a critical. And we discuss the fission. Now we can define fission in terms of the chi. If chi is greater than 1, because you know z square by e equal to z square by a critical value equal to 50, and for any nucleus we can find out z square by a, because any nucleus the mass number is given and atomic number is given, so we can find out z square by a. So z square by a divided by z square by a critical, we have got in case of the fission z square by a critical equal to 50. So you put this value 50 and take any nucleus, find out the value of the z square by a, find out the fissionable parameter, and if this fissionable parameter is greater than 1, then the nucleus is unstable. And nucleus is unstable against spontaneous fission. Right? So the critical energy EF for the fission, which has been defined, EF, critical energy for the fission, defined at the energy necessary. This is the fission energy, that the energy required to deform a drop when it is about to split into two equal mass. So EF equal to 4 pi r0 tau a to the power 2 by 3, then F chi, or it is written as ES0, that the surface energy in the undeformed state, and a to the power 2 by 3 into F chi. So that is how the fissionable parameter is being introduced in the case of the energy of the fission, and it is the ratio of the Z square by A by Z square by A critical. Thank you.